Previously on Funny Science Fiction.
And when you come in a ring, bring a gun with you because you're going to need. He said 2 steaks, please. We were having dinner.
2 steaks, please.
He was just a great guy.
Hello, and welcome to the Funny Science Fiction Podcast.
This is the podcast where the Mandalorian earns extra money by killing our jokes.
So our guest today is the awesome Lacey Gilleran. Welcome to the show, Lacey.
Welcome. Hi, how's it going?
Lacey.
Awesome. We're so glad to have you here. Now, I, for one, am excited to have you on our show because you're the co-host of a couple other podcasts that I like to follow. So
that's excellent. I'm glad you're listening. That's cool.
Yeah. So I listen to the Resistance podcast, the Resistance broadcast. Let's say that properly. The Resistance broadcast and the Mando fan show. So I also follow you on Twitter, and I've had some fun and conversations with you and talking about things. So guys, if you're not catching on already, she's kind of a mega Star Wars fan. That's right. That's right. I have found my people.
There you go.
Yes.
All right.
Hey.
So Lacey, let's do some chatting, and then at the end we're going to have a fun but yet challenging Star Wars trivia game. There might even be some prizes attached.
Oh, great.
So now I have to ask, because the first thing I saw when I looked you up and started researching was your tagline, the girl that always tries to work Star Wars into the conversation. And of course, my mind went all kinds of weird places. Now, what is the most awkward conversation that you can talk about that you've managed to work Star Wars into? Like, you know, is it a funeral or something?
A funeral.
I mean, there's a time and place to talk Star Wars. It's
Right?
more like no matter where the conversation is, whether I'm at work or wherever, it always devolves back to Star Wars. I wouldn't say like, I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry, so-and-so passed. By the way, have you seen the latest episode of Mandalorian? I think the probably funniest, I would say awkward thing was I was my husband's sister's maid of honor. So my sister-in-law's maid of honor last year. So I had to give a speech at her wedding. And so, you know, I started the speech off with, hey, I'm Lacey. You probably know me because I'm married to Matt, but also I'm like a huge Star Wars fan. And then I wrote a couple sentences in being like, you know, I don't think we should underestimate how the saga's coming to an end, because this was on December 13th. I was like, in like 3 days, the saga comes to an end. And like, this is the culmination of 42 years. And everyone in the room was like, and like even someone I remember the table next to me, I just heard went, oh no. And like, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I'm just kidding.
Stepped over the
Just
line.
kidding.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that's funny.
I would say that's probably like the weirdest one that I've had someone like kind of cringe.
We'll keep
But
it up. It sounds enjoyable.
Well, wonderful. So now here's a question that came up on our Facebook group, and I wondered what your answer might be to it. And so I put this in the Star Wars setting. Now you've been kidnapped. You're being held in a Genosian containment field. There might be torture involved. We won't get into that. Now, who do you hope comes to rescue you? What and from which movie show?
So it depends. If there's a plan, then Luke Skywalker / Obi-Wan Kenobi, because they're very good with plans.
There
Okay.
you go.
If there's no plan and it's just like, we're doing this, then Han Solo, because he somehow always gets out of it. So it depends on that situation.
All right. Now, which Han Solo, the young one or the older one?
Hey, no, don't besmirch it. Come on.
I would say, well, okay. I would say young Han Solo, either Alden or Harrison, because older is kind of just like probably grumpy, and he'd just be like, oh, this is too much. This is too much work.
Too much trouble. She can just stay in the, a little torture probably improve her character,
It's
right?
not going to hurt
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I love, Lacey, that you're sitting in front of your cool, I know it's not a backdrop, your collection. I think that's really, really cool. I was wondering if you have any Star Wars Barbies or the Lego sets. And can we
Lego
see
sets.
more of your collection?
Anything you want to show off?
So I have like a little mini Lego kind of kit that someone gave me that they put together because I'm not talented whatsoever when it comes to Lego.
Okay.
So I'm not the person for that. Barbie doll wise, I have all the Forces of Destiny dolls that came from that line with Jyn Erso and the 2 Rays and the Leias and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I have stuff from all different sections of the collection world.
Yeah. They have some neat Lego sets too. They have the
They
whole
do.
cantina.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
the one that's like 3,187 pieces.
Yeah, I think so. Are
Yeah.
we able to see
So-
any more of your collection? Do you have a favorite piece back there?
So it's kind of just like all over the place. It goes all the way up.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
really cool.
So my favorite piece is probably I have a Last Jedi poster that I got from Celebration 2017 that
Nice.
I ran into Mark Hamill in the airport and he signed it.
Oh, awesome.
So I would say that's my favorite piece
There you
or
go.
my sign
Yeah.
You signed what?
Finn figure. I have a John
Oh.
Boyega signed figure.
Oh,
Very
that's cool.
Yeah.
Great.
No, that's really cool. I instantly had a moment of fanboying as soon as you said you got Hamill to sign it. I'm like, ooh.
I had a moment of fangirling. So
I bet.
Yeah, I worked for Star Wars Celebration for a couple of years and then my career took me elsewhere. But when I got to go to Celebration in 2017, I went as a fan. Not that I wasn't a fan before, but like just as a fan, I wasn't working.
Sure.
And I was in the airport and I had Ray hair in and a Lucasfilm sweatshirt on and like was all Star Wars out going home. And the person from TSA comes up and she leans over. She goes, "So do you like Star Wars?" And I was just like, yes, I do. And she was just like, "Okay, well, don't look over there. That guy that's like the main guy, like Luke is over there."
Awesome.
And I look up and then in the lane over is Mark Hamill like going through security, which is always funny seeing celebrities go through normal
Right.
things like the rest of us. So I look at her and I'm like, "You mean Mark Hamill?" And she goes, "Yeah, whatever. Just don't say anything." And like walked away.
Yeah.
So naturally from my experiences of working at Celebration, you have this moment of like, oh, I don't want to bother him. Like he's just living his life. There's a time and place and this isn't it. So in my frazzled, high elevated, started sweating state, I got on there's like trams in the Orlando airport. So I
Right.
got
Yes.
on the wrong one,
Oh,
realized it, came back. And when I came out, it was fate. He was sitting there and he was signing autographs for people.
Oh, nice.
And I was holding my poster because I didn't want it bent. So I was this crazy person that carried it onto
Right?
the plane. So I was holding it and I was like, okay, I have literally 5 seconds to decide what I'm doing here. And I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. So he's about to get up from the bench he's on. And I'm like, "Excuse me, I'm so sorry to bother you. Do you mind signing this?" And he like looks up at me and I have the Ray buns in and everything. And he just
Oh.
smiles and he goes, "Sure.
oh, that's
That's
awesome.
Sure, of course I will." And then he goes, "Do you have a pen?" And then I went,
Ah!
and then he like reaches over to this little kid and takes his Sharpie and he goes, "So who should I make it out to?" And I'm like, "Lacey, you could put whatever you want on it. I don't really care. Just do, like," and I'm like totally freaking out. The security guy's laughing at me. And then he's just like, "Okay, Lacey, no problem." And so he signs it, he gets up, he's so gracious, so nice, so nice.
That's awesome.
And I get up and I walk away and I'm holding it like this because I don't want to smudge.
right.
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
I'm sweating and I'm shaking and I'm holding this poster like this is my life. And there's 2 like security people standing there and I'm like, "Hi, I'm looking for gate 7. I don't know if you know, but I just met Luke Skywalker. It's kind of big."
I know.
And the security people are looking at me like, "All right." And they just kind of do one of these. And I look over and there's a big sign that's like gate 7. And
right
I'm
there.
just
It's
like,
oh, man.
That's
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, that happened.
So Lacey, I noticed your Facebook page. I really enjoyed a few things on there. I enjoyed seeing Kermit the Frog.
oh,
Because I love Muppets. We talk about the Muppet Star Wars crossover.
Connection.
The connection, not the love connection or
The
rainbow connection,
right?
that
Yeah.
yeah.
Kermit has. Saw you hugging a Wookiee, like at a movie or something. I also noticed you opening a very cool black box.
Yes.
And when you opened it, it had the Mandalorian cereal in it.
Yep. Yeah. So me hugging Chewie was from the world premiere of The Rise of Skywalker last year in Hollywood. I got to go, which was really, really cool. It's like
Cool.
one of those things that you wish you could tell 6-year-old, 7-year-old Lacey, like, just wait.
Someday
Right.
you're
It can
gonna
happen. The black box. It's so funny. The black box. What's in it?
What's in the
So cool.
box?
That
Yeah.
was a neat presentation.
Yeah.
that was neat.
It's it was a gift from General Mills with a really cool like mirror with a wanted poster
Yeah, it was
on it, and you
beautiful.
open it up. It's really cool.
That was
Nice.
beautiful. So did you eat the cereal?
So I haven't had that box, but I did buy several other
Okay.
boxes that I have had.
That's
No,
I
right.
enjoyed it.
has a
I know some
number-
people had their thoughts, but I really liked it.
Mine has a number 11 on it.
Well,
I think they all have that, to be honest,
all
because
have a
mine has
number
the
on there?
same thing.
Or are
Yeah,
they
mine has
different
the
ones?
same.
Because I know Star Wars has different cereals and it has Darth Vader and C-3PO and different things on.
Oh, yeah, no,
Research it
mine says
online.
11.
Bunch
Yeah.
of bunch of cereal things. So I was wondering what the 11 stood for.
Well, you might have the inside scoop.
Do you have a different number on yours?
No, I think mine's also 11.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of cool. I'm like, hey, maybe they're making a bunch more. I thought you didn't.
Hopefully.
I thought you collected maybe more of the boxes or something. Or
No, I'm not really a big cereal food collector, but I mean that alone I will collect because it's just so random and like
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah,
cool
that's
things.
yeah,
So
it was pretty neat.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Nick bought that yesterday. I'm like, hey, I can put that in the show.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
So Lacey, I have made no secret of it that I'm a huge Harrison Ford fan.
You don't
Now,
say.
In fact, one of my sons, his middle name is Harrison.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, he not sure yet, but I thought it was. Now, in talking with another guest that we had on the show, we talked about the movie Solo, and the initial reaction that many of the fans had with it, which included my reaction. I was a little sour about the film.
Sure.
Although I have to admit, I am coming around to it. I've watched it a little more. I watched it through a different perspective, and that helped me to enjoy it. I looked at it as more of a heist film, as it was suggested, and I thought, you know what, that actually makes more sense now. But now you and your co-host have openly campaigned for a Solo 2. So what's the draw to you for Solo, and why does it deserve a sequel?
So, yeah, that all started. We saw Solo on opening night, and really, really enjoyed it. I wasn't someone that left it being like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, but I understand that fans have a view of Harrison Ford as Han Solo, like literally one of the most iconic cinematic movie characters, and I totally get that. I think it's because I went in with the expectation of knowing, hey, it's not going to be Harrison and he's not going to be doing an impression of Harrison, that I was able to kind of step outside of that. But I understand why people have such a strong connection to Han Solo and why Alden isn't that for them. That being said, I think, Solo kind of got a bad rap. It came off of several months after The Last Jedi, which was very divisive, and people had their own opinions on whether they liked that or not.
That
it
might be an understatement.
Which is fine. Everyone is open to their opinion, and that's kind of
absolutely. Yeah.
what makes fandom so awesome, is because everybody thinks differently. If we all thought the
Sure.
same, it wouldn't be very fun.
More
No.
collectible.
Yeah, I think the marketing was terrible for it. All they really did was Denny's. Like, they didn't do any marketing for this movie, and I don't know what happened, which I'm assuming is part of the problem because they had to basically reproduce the whole film twice.
Yeah.
And then it came off of 2 crazy weekends. It had Endgame, and then it followed Deadpool 2. So any fan like myself who's a fan of everything, like, yeah, you're going to see everything. But if you're picking and choosing movies, you're going to go see Avengers over Solo. That's just
Right.
how it's going to go.
Right.
So what happened was we saw it. We really, really loved it. September rolls around where the DVD was coming out. And John Hoey, one of our co-hosts, was saying how much he loved it, and we agreed. And he said, you know what, why don't we make a t-shirt that says Make Solo 2 happen? Because it was kind of this tongue-in-cheek thing where he was like, it's probably not going to happen, but we really love it, so why don't we do it?
Sure.
And so that's where Make Solo 2 happen. And then following year after Celebration, at Celebration, we all wore our t-shirts on the same day and tweeted a picture out, and we're like, hey, we want to make Solo 2 happen. We'd love to meet anybody that wants to do it. And John Kasdan, who's one of the writers of the film, Lawrence Kasdan's son, was like, hey, make sure you go find these people, like the producers there at Celebration, like, love your shirts, all about it.
Right?
So then come May, of 2018, we were kind of deciding like, hey, what should we do? What's kind of going on? I was like, you know what, why don't we make a day of it? Like where we just talk about how much we love Solo. So we thought that it was going to be us and like 20 people talking about this movie based on your own reaction where you're like, I don't know how I feel about it. So we thought it was going to be us and 10 people being like, hey, we like Solo, like over in the back of the room. And we woke up that day. I'm on the East Coast in the US. And we woke up at 8 a.m. that day to 8,000 tweets.
Wow.
Yeah,
Whoa.
about Make Solo 2 happen. And then we found out it was trending and it got the attention of Ron Howard and John Kasdan and all these people at Lucasfilm. And we were like, hey, there's something here.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those films that's really grown on people, like you said. I think they kind of had their own feelings from The Last Jedi and whatnot, and they kind of got brought over to Solo. But if you look at Solo for what it is, and the characters that were introduced and the storyline, it's just the start of a story. And there's
Right.
so much to come. And I think that's why, rumor has it that it was originally supposed to be a series of 2 or 3 films.
Yeah,
So
I heard
there's
that
so
too.
much more to see. I personally really want a Jabba puppet. Like bring back the puppet. That's what I want. And that's where he was going. So it's one of those things like, why wouldn't you do it? It's so
Yeah.
there. And with, the introduction of The Mandalorian and Disney Plus series, it makes sense that it could be a really cool Disney Plus series, which we've been saying for a while.
Yeah.
And you could bring in Kira and Enfys Nest. We call her Enfys Best because she's
Right.
like the best character. But yeah, no, there's just so much there that you can do. And I think that's why we really want to see it. And despite what your thoughts are on the sequel trilogy or the saga trilogy, the prequels, whatever, you can appreciate Solo just for what it is. And I think that's why people have grown to love it.
That's cool.
No, that's a great answer. Now, as a side point, one of the Make Solo 2 happen posts that you guys have put out there,
Yeah.
I had commented the thing that I want to see most out of this now, and part of the reason I struggled in the beginning. So I'll go with that first. The part of the reason why I struggled in the beginning is that because of the affinity for Harrison Ford.
Yes.
I had a hard time buying Alden as Han Solo because I've never seen Han Solo be that cheery, happy-go-lucky, positive. And to me, it was like the Boy Scouts version of Han Solo. He's like, we're gonna make it happen, yay!
But everyone's got to start somewhere before they get jaded.
Yeah, I get that. I get that now. But I walked into the movie thinking, especially what. Okay, so here's one of the little things that bugged me in the movie. He says, there's the infamous lines been in every Star Wars movie. I got a bad feeling about this.
Right.
And he sits there when they're getting ready to go on the Kessel Run. He goes, I got a really good feeling about this. In the middle of the movie theater, I'm like, no. So yeah, I'm one of those guys that yells at the screen. It's just my thing.
Yeah, but it's definitely one of those things that Alden has said, hey, the interesting thing is from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, you see that where he is at the end of the movie is the Han Solo that you know. He's that jaded guy that's been betrayed by like 4 people in the span of 3 hours.
Right. There's
yeah.
a definite trek there, a trajectory of his character. And that's what took me a little while to come around to. But now here's what I want to see in Solo 2 or a Solo TV
Series.
show.
Yeah.
Because we see what's happened with The Mandalorian and the awesomeness that Filoni and Favreau have put out with that, tying people into Star Wars lore, into previous shows, and tying the something common with the something uncommon. And I think that's been awesome that they've been able to do that. I want to see what happens after Kira goes to see Darth Maul. I want to see what happens with the crime syndicates. I want to see, with Enfys Nest and all this and how this all ties together. And because again, in the one thing about that movie that I saw when I was at the theater, they brought Darth Maul back, robot legs and all, and I'm like, yes, Darth Maul.
And Sam Witwer, yeah.
Yes, exactly. Sam, oh man, he's awesome. So, but yeah, so that's where I was at with that.
Well, that's where they were going is, the first Make Solo 2 happen day, because unfortunately now there's been 2 because they haven't done it yet. But the first one that we did in 2018, John Kasdan tweeted out 3 symbols and said, hey, the crime syndicate war is just beginning. Like there are stories to be told. So they have that underworld crime syndicate storyline to tell. So I'd love to see it in a series.
Yeah, no, I think Ron Howard did what he could with what he had in the first movie. And I think he did, looking back on it now, I think he's done a very good job with it.
Yeah,
It took
yeah.
me a while to get there, though, to get past the fact that Alden is not Harrison Ford and that he wasn't what I saw through my own little rose-colored glasses. So it took me a little bit, but I got there.
Just remember
So-
that they saw over 3,000 people. He was the first person they saw. They saw 3,000 people. He's the last person they saw, and that's who they chose.
I'll go with that. Okay.
And physically, I bought him as a young Han. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he had enough characteristics that I could identify with.
You can see the jump between the two. Yeah, absolutely. All right. So this question comes from our Funny Science Fiction Facebook group members, John and Kathleen Wass. They ask, you're hired to do a bounty and there's a Camtano waiting for you. Now, for those who are listening who don't understand what a Camtano is, now if you think about the Mandalorian, when Grief Kargo offers Mando the ice cream maker of Beskar, if he retrieves the child, that's what the Camtano is. So they want to know, Lacey, what awaits you in your Camtano?
Probably Baby Yoda toys, which is now Grogu. Grogu toys. Yorkshire tea. I drink it nonstop, and
Okay.
Kraft macaroni and cheese.
Right?
So Yorkshire and
My
Kraft.
cell phone, probably.
There you
That's the
go.
other important thing.
She's available for sponsorships, Kraft.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Kraft, are you listening?
So, all right. So now, if you see what Lacey posts on social media and by her last answer, it's pretty obvious that she loves The Mandalorian.
I do.
I would say obsessed, but that just sounds all judgy.
Yeah, don't touch it.
You can say it's okay. Probably
okay.
even an understatement.
That's okay. I'm a little obsessed myself right now.
Yeah.
I have been absolutely floored by what they've done this season. I loved it last season. I'm even more impressed with it this season. Now, with that in mind, what's one prediction that you have for season 2 of The Mandalorian? Keeping in mind for our listeners that we have just seen chapter 13, The Jedi, the live action reveal of Ahsoka Tano.
So cool.
So cool. The talk of Thrawn. So cool.
Yeah.
So what do you think that viewers should be looking out for?
So I think the big point that's giving me anxiety is the upcoming, conversation / fight between Moff Gideon and the Mandalorian. I think that staff that he got of Beskar is so that he can fight the Darksaber, because otherwise he wouldn't have anything that would kind of evenly set him against Moff Gideon. I think sadly we're going to end this season with Moff Gideon having baby Grogu. I think he's going to get him. And then that's going to set it up to season 3 of he's got to get him back.
That'll be the cliffhanger. Yeah.
I just hope, based on the information we learned from chapter, what are we on now? 16, 13, 12. So chapter 12, he doesn't do terrible things like drain his blood and stuff, which we
Right.
learned
Well, yeah,
that's what they were
because
doing.
what was at the end of chapter 11, they ended with Moff Gideon standing there with what looked to be
Dark troopers. Yep.
a whole row of dark troopers that were supposedly with midichlorian blood running through them. So
Yeah, so Giancarlo Esposito did a recent interview with EW where he let it slip that they are dark troopers.
yeah, because I had to replay that scene like 2 or 3 times. And
Yes,
pause
because
it
they
and
kind of
slow-
sneakily hide it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was kind of so I'm over there like with my remote going slow, and because at first I saw him and I'm like, oh my god, is that a whole roll of Darth Vaders? Please, I've been a good boy. But no, it was not to be had. But Dark Troopers would be really cool too, though. So
It would be. It's scary though.
yeah. So no, I think that's a good prediction. I think that's something very realistic as to what could happen. I'm still interested to see what's going to happen with Boba / possibly Rex, but I'm leaning to the fact it's more likely Boba. But-
Right. They kind of
So-
just let you see him, and then they were like, he doesn't matter. He's over here. And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, but what about they're like, don't worry about
I
it.
didn't see that.
Yeah. It's just a thing. It's happening. Here's his armor. Tease. So
Yeah.
yeah. Very good. Cool beans.
Well, great. Well, guess what time it is? It's trivia time.
Oh,
So we're
geez.
gonna subject our guests to a little trivia contest, and the theme this week is Star Wars actors in other roles. Yeah, nothing
Right.
too easy here. So, but now it's multiple choice, so we do give you a little help there. Now,
Nice.
if you get 3 correct, we'll send you one of our Red Shirt Widows and Orphans mug.
Oh, how nice.
Isn't that nice? If you get all 5 correct, I'm going to go ahead and send you my book autographed. Custodian.
Oh, that's a cool prize.
Yeah, those who boldly go to clean up after those that boldly just went. Now, there is a fail mode, and if you hit failure, which is less than 3 right, we're going to make a meme out of your head.
Oh,
Not your
no.
literal head. Picture your head. Okay.
But only
Put
if you
in a
agree.
funny meme and feature you on our Facebook. So, do you
Yep.
agree to those terms?
Up for the challenge?
Sure, why not?
All right.
I got nothing to lose.
Right?
There you go.
This is a hard one. So,
You know, you'd be surprised how many people actually respond with that. Most people are like, oh, you can put me on a meme? I win. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So here's our first question. Sir Alec Guinness was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role as Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars, of course, in 1977. But he didn't win. However, he had already won an Oscar as Best Actor in 1957. But for which role? Was it Professor Marcus in The Lady Killers, Prince Faisal in Lawrence of Arabia, or Colonel Nicholson in The Bridge on the River Kwai?
The bridge one.
Oh, good. I didn't even have to whistle for you.
got it. We were going to whistle the tune.
I was going to whistle the tune. Just
Whistle the tune anyway.
All right.
Wow.
So
All right.
you got the first one. These are tough.
That was one of the hard
That
ones.
All right. Now,
Let's see.
Anakin the Skywalker's actor Hayden Christensen ironically got his big break in which Fox Family Network TV series about a progressive school for teens at risk? Was the name of the show 1, Higher Ground, 2, What I Like About You, or 3, Shattered Glass?
The first one.
Higher Ground?
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
get the irony? Do you see the irony of this whole thing?
I just know because Shattered Glass is his movie, so it's not
Right.
that one. And then
Yep.
What I Like About You, I think, is a song.
Yeah.
I know. That's what
It
I
was
thinking.
another obscure show from the time. I did. So
all right. Well done.
this lesson might have saved his life if he'd actually listened
That's
at
great.
that
Mm,
school.
The
Right?
high ground.
Higher Ground.
We were worried this might be too difficult of a,
You're
a
doing-
quiz,
you're-
but you're doing great.
You're doing great.
So you got 2 of them right. So David Prowse, who recently just passed away, played Darth Vader, as we all know. In addition, he played in a number of other movies and TV shows. However, he also had a part in what major motion picture from 1971? Was it 1, Escape from the Planet of the Apes, 2, A Clockwork Orange, or 3, The Andromeda Strain?
Oh, jeez. I'm going to go with the first one.
Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
No, sorry. He actually appeared in A Clockwork,
Clockwork
Orange. He
Orange.
was Julian.
You know what? I was thinking it was that one. I'm thinking I couldn't imagine, picture him in the movie, but I'm like, okay, what are the years of these movies and when?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
was
that
getting
was,
ready to give you a hint there.
and he
but-
actually his face and everything. He was, in the show. He wasn't
Nice.
in a suit or anything, so it was kind of neat.
All right. Now, the man whose last name I can never pronounce also played Han Solo in the movie Solo.
Alden Ehrenreich.
There you go.
Rick.
There.
Now, he also played the role of Ethan Watt in what 2013 American romantic gothic fantasy film? Was it The Host?
Beautiful Creatures.
And done. Okay.
Got it. Awesome. That's tough.
I
Yeah.
only
right.
know that because I've seen it, and I remember when he
Aha.
got cast as Solo, I was like, I've seen him before.
Nice.
And then I was like, oh wait, he has a Southern accent in the thing. Then
Yeah.
Awesome, yeah. Well, you got 3 right so far. So
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
good.
yay! I don't have to be a failure.
No,
There you go.
Okay. failed.
You've not failed yet. We still
All
got room
right.
to get go for the book.
All right, now here we go. 1973, Harrison Ford also appeared driving a hot rod in another George Lucas film as the character Bob Falfa. Not Baba Falfa, but Bob Falfa. The film also starred Ron Howard. Or
American
he was known
Graffiti?
as- Yep, you got it.
She doesn't even give us
We
a
don't
chance
even-
to read the clue.
Was it Happy Days, Love American Style, or American Graffiti? And you got it.
Okay.
She's
so
like,
since
clues?
you
I
got-
don't need no stinking clues.
Since you got 4 right, we'll give you a bonus
Got
question.
a bonus question
see if we can
to
get
see if
you
we can
that
you
book.
qualified.
All right. Samuel L. Jackson, aka Mace Windu, also played FBI agent Neville Flynn in what 2006 movie set on an airplane?
Snakes on a plane.
Doesn't even give us a chance to read our
Snakes
things.
on a
Right,
plane!
yeah.
I saw that in the movie theater and I regret it. So
I know, right? I'm like, I don't even want to see that movie.
Well,
It's been on TNT, I think, at least a half dozen times, and I have successfully avoided it each time.
every time.
Oh.
yeah.
jeez.
Well, you won not only the cup, but also an autographed copy of my book.
Yay.
Cosmo.
All right, well done,
That was
Lacey.
great.
Well done.
You did
You-
great.
you
See, and I
impressed
thought that
us.
was going to be hard, and you only
Very
you were
impressive.
on the right track with that.
I have a lot of useless information in my brain.
Yeah, you did
And
great.
it paid off.
And it paid off.
It's not useless anymore.
It's only useless if it can't come to use at some point in your
There you
life.
go.
So,
That's why we have these trivia contests. So we can make use of some of this trivia we have floating around in our brain.
That was great. I'm glad you got that. That was awesome.
all right, Lacey, we thank you so much for being on our show today. What we want to make sure that people can find you and your other podcasts and things that you've got going on. So where is the best place for people to look for information about Lacey Gilleran?
So people can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Lacey Gilleran, and then you can find me Monday and Thursdays on the Resistance broadcast, my Star Wars podcast for StarWarsNewsNet.com. That's at RBATSWNN on Twitter. And then on Fridays, as long as the season goes, we're doing the Mando fan show.
Nice.
All right, cool. Well, we'll make sure we'll put all that information in the description when we post this
Awesome.
episode. So
Thank
that way
you.
everybody can find all your work.
Great.
Yep. Subscribing is the single most important thing you can do to ensure that we get more amazing guests like Lacey and funny moments you can listen to. Please subscribe. Please check out Lacey's work as well. And always feel free to contact us where it all began on our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction.
Now, remember, if you're not happy with our show's content, all you have to do is let us know. We'll be happy to pelt the offending member with homemade tribbles for 15 minutes per complaint.
Happily.
Happily. Now, our
Happily.
ending quote this week comes from Arthur C. Clarke. Science fiction is something that could happen, but usually you wouldn't want it to. Fantasy is something that couldn't happen, though you often wish that it could. So thanks again, Lacey. You've been
Bye,
a wonderful
Lacey.
guest. We've had a blast.
Thank you so
Of course. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I
Yeah,
really
it's so nice
Glad
to meet
enjoyed
you.
it. Nice to meet you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
By the way, it would be illogical if we failed to mention our charity, the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, because as we all know, in episode 27, just 7 minutes and 43 seconds into the show, a red-shirted Starship crew member will most likely not survive the Spider-Barkley syndrome and begin to devolve into another creature. But thanks to the Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, the Red Shirt families won't be left destitute.
Please remember our fictional charity, Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund, is connected to a very real charity. And your purchase of Red Shirt Widows and Orphans Fund merchandise allows us to donate 100% of its profits of the sold merchandise to the awesome folks over at Wish Upon a Teen. They help kids have a more comfortable stay in hospitals when their stay becomes more extended. Let's not forget to help our neighbors in this time of need.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of Funny Science Fiction, we'd like to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on one of our future episodes, please contact us by means of our Facebook group, Funny Science Fiction. You can find us on Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FunnySci-Fi, or you can go to DraytonAllen.com and click the Contact Me link at the bottom of the page. Thanks again. Hope you enjoyed the episode.
Copyright 2020 by Drayton Allen. Original music by Jordan Michaels. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned in this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation of or by Funny Science Fiction or its sponsors.
The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at drakenallen@drakenallen.com.